Welcome back, boys and girls. Today's gonna be a good day, and that's because we get to finally turbo the K series. Super excited to get this shit going. Before we get to the turbo and all that stuff, let me give you guys a little update on what's going on here. That way I can keep you guys updated on everything that's going on with the build before we get to the turbo setup. So let's get started. So if you didn't catch the last video, I ended up making these brackets for the cooling system. The radiator is pretty much complete. The intercooler got upgraded to a 4-inch. And we installed the external oil cooler 19 row. Got it all running nice and smooth, coming through the side up to the sandwich adapter. I have all the lines. This line right here attaches directly to my oil pressure sensor for the oils, and I decided to mount it right onto there. So has a rubber bushing, that way it doesn't go anywhere. And yeah, so all that's left is obviously installing the exhaust, manifold, turbo, and all that stuff, and then the wiring harness, and then the ECU. I actually just placed my order with Wiring Specialties today. I sent them a list and the picture where all the sensors are located. So I got my fuel pressure sensor here. I got the air temperature sensor right there. I got the flex fuel sensor right in between that. Obviously the oil pressure, I am gonna be running a temperature sensor. I haven't bought that yet. It's gonna go right there. I also have the Haltech boost solenoid 4-port going back there, and Jesus, almost killed myself. And then I think that's pretty much it. And Wiring Specialties, huge shout out to them. They're the ones that made this swap possible. Couldn't have done it without them. Their wiring was super simple, straightforward, and plug and play. So we're hoping for the same results for this K swap Datsun. So, all right, boys, let's get to the good stuff. All right, starting with the manifold. This is from Jack Spania. This is a rear-wheel drive turbo manifold for the K series. And it looks good, it looks decent. I paid, I think, $600 for this, and it looks good. I read a couple reviews online where they say they tend to crack, but the welds look pretty solid to me. I don't see any issues right now. But we're gonna give it a shot. Worst case scenario, if it does crack, I'm just gonna bite the bullet, get the $1,300 one. But I'm hoping this thing works out for us, and yeah. Oh, and it does have a 44mm port for the wastegate, which is next. This is a tile wastegate. 44mm. I am running this setup on my JZ as well. Never had any issues, never had any creep issues, so this is gonna work out perfect for us, I think. I am gonna be running the water cooling on this, just because I say I'm gonna drift it. I don't know yet, maybe, but if I do decide to drift, the thing's set up for it. So yeah, so this is pretty much complete. I already bolted everything through and sealed it all up. So let's put that aside and let's get to the good stuff, boys. The turbo. Dun, 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 dun. This is a Pulsar turbo, PSR3582 Gen2 with a T51R mod, which is what I have on a Z. That's why I sound so sick. I'll put in a clip right here. I already took it out. I couldn't wait for y'all, man. But let's pretend it's my first time opening this box, all right? Let me put this down right here so I'm gonna get it all screwed up. Boom, there it is, boys and girls. Look at this beauty, man. Look at those fins. Looks good, boys. Let's get it. So I am gonna take off this compressor housing once I get it all bolted up into that, because I am gonna weld a 90 elbow with a bung that I already welded on to get our boost source for the control, for the boost solenoid. So it's gonna go something like that. I may chop it off from here. I'm not too sure yet. I gotta see how much clearance I have. Get started, boys. First things first, we gotta get this exhaust manifold on and see what hardware came with it. So this is what Jack Spania sent to me. It looks like we have the exhaust manifold gasket, the T4 turbo gasket, and some studs and nuts for the manifold because it is threaded. So gonna put some Loctite on real quick and let me get this going. All right, got that all done. Now I'm gonna grab the exhaust manifold gasket, spray some good old copper spray gasket. This thing, for me, it works really good. So I'm gonna spray this down, gonna let it get tacky, and then we're gonna go ahead and put this manifold onto the K. So check with you guys in a minute. All right, it's been sitting for about 5 to 10 minutes. They got nice and tacky, so now we're gonna put this manifold on. And let's see how this girl fits. Kind of rough doing this with one hand, so give me a second, boys. Let me get a couple nuts in there and we'll do a little bit. Oh, there you go, not too bad, okay. You know what I just realized? The T4 flange is pointing out this way. I really hope it doesn't interfere with this shock tower. We'll figure this out if it does interfere. Let me bolt this up before it gets too dry and torque it all down. Not even the first thing installed and we already came up with some issues, guys. Not good, I'm bummed out. Should've just paid the money. All right, so It looks like the manifold is warped at the flange. I don't know if you guys can see that. Okay, so you see that right there? I'm gonna shine some light through. You see that? Dude, that's freaking horrible, man. Oh my goodness. Should have just paid the fucking money. Should have just paid the $1,200 and I have to deal with this bullshit, man. Okay, so what I have to do now is take this off and get this manifold sent out tomorrow to my local Napa and get it resurfaced. Hopefully that fixes it. If not, I'm gonna have to contact the company, get a refund, and just pay some. Yeah, shit, dude, I'm bummed. I'm not gonna let that stop me tonight because I still have to do a little bit of welding on that. I'm gonna mount up the turbo and see where exactly I'm gonna have to weld. Where is it? There's 90 here, so. All right, let's do that. All right, boys, we gotta move on forward. So, looks like I'm gonna have some clearance issues for the valve cover too. I'm not too sure how I'm gonna run that yet, but also I'm gonna face this nipple facing downward because it'll look cleaner and it'll fit a lot better. So, I'm gonna do something like that. So yeah, I think I am gonna chop it. I am gonna chop that piece off. Chop it off and weld it because it looks like it's gonna interfere. So let me mark it up and then show you guys what's next. We're gonna run it just like that. And then we won't have any more clearance issues, boys. All right, let me take this shit off and, God, dude, that sucks. Get it off, weld it all up. All right, took this thing off. Now we gotta cut it up. It's the fun part, boys. Shouldn't be too bad, right? We're just cutting right there, so. I'm gonna put it on my cutter and see how it turns out. All right, got it all nice and clean, chopped up. I'll show you guys what it looks like without it. A little ugly, no big deal. So I did mark it with the black permanent marker. So I'm gonna line it up and do a couple tacks, and if I like it, we'll do a full pass. So let's do it, boys. All right, so I stopped recording last night. I was a little bummed out about the manifold, but I did end up welding the turbo elbow. So it came out pretty good. Not the cleanest, but it's gonna work. I did manage to take the manifold down to Napa to get it resurfaced, and they did a good job. Did put it on the welding table and it looked pretty flat. So as of right now, we're gonna try it on and see how it works. That's right now, it looks good. So I'm gonna put the manifold gasket on and I'm gonna bolt this on and see if it's a true flat or not. So, wish me luck, boys. All right, boys, so I got the manifold on. I torqued it down to 33 foot-pounds and it looks good. It doesn't look like it's leaking, or it doesn't look like there's a gap anymore. So we're gonna run it, fire it up, and then if it leaks, gonna have to figure something out. So putting on the turbo and clocking it right, because they usually don't come clocked correctly anyways. All right, let's grab this beautiful thing. It's gonna go something like, all right, that was kind of rough with one hand, but let's hope it doesn't fly off or something. It's not clocked correctly. So the drain looks like it's at 45. You usually want that thing to come straight down. So I don't know how much room we have to play with, because it looks like might be able to hit the flange, but I'm gonna clock it and see how it turns out. I'm gonna do it off camera. It's gonna be hard doing it with two hands. So let me knock this out real quick and I'll get back to you guys. All right, so I got the turbo on and the 45 degree. I had to add a 45 to it just to make it work right. It's not perfectly up straight. We still have a slight degree, but it's not gonna be, I don't think that's gonna be an issue. I'm gonna do a little bit of research. I think we'll be okay running like this. So I'm gonna take it back off, tighten up the turbo, those bolts, put the housing on, obviously do the bottom T4 mount, see how it looks, boys. All right, guys, clocked it just how I want this turbo to be. Now let's put it on the actual truck. Since the turbo's already set up, the next step is to install the good old wastegate. This is a tile 44 millimeter wastegate. I do have the springs in there set at 13 pounds. So same setup as a JZ. I have same tile, matter of fact, same color too, running on 13 pound springs. So gonna put this on and see how it looks. Oh, god damn. This thing is massive, dude. I don't even think I'm gonna have room for the exhaust. There's literally no room. That's not good. Let me mount it up and see how we're gonna work this, cause it's bigger than I thought, apparently. God damn. All right, I got the wastegate on. I did leave on these 90-degree 6AN fittings for the coolant, just as a mock-up so I can see, I can rotate and see if I'm gonna hit anything. And I think right about there's my limit. So that's how I'm gonna bolt it on. I'm gonna tighten it up and start working on the coolant lines. I think that's gonna be it for the video, guys. There's nothing much really going on. Next thing I have to do is finish my intercooler piping. I think that's gonna be the next video. It shouldn't be too bad. It's gonna be a quick angle just from here to there. Simple. And then a video after that will probably be me doing the exhaust and figuring out where I wanted to go out from. I don't want to do a side fender exit because that's going to be too loud for my passenger and myself. I might just do it trying to find a good route going from here all the way back. But yeah, that's going to be, those are the next 2 steps that I have to do with this build. And with that, boys, I appreciate you guys stopping by. It means a lot. If you liked the video, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. There is a ton of stuff that's going to be happening with this truck. If you want to keep up with the build, this is it. This is the time to do it, boys. We started this build from zero, and we're going to take it all the way up until we hit some drift tracks somewhere in Apple Valley. I don't know. And with that being said, I hope all of you guys have a beautiful evening. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.